It's not a dream. We really had NFL football last week. It was great. We'll debrief all about that and get you ready for week 2 on FanDuel with cash and GPP lineups, all coming up next. Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Lee from the Fantasy Football Consultants. Welcome to the show. We're going to get to our week 2 cash and GPP lineups on FanDuel in just a minute. But first, I wanted to acknowledge we are living in some crazy, tough times. And I have 2 hopes for all our viewers. One, that the return of NFL football has given you some sense of normalcy and brightened up your Sundays. And 2, every Wednesday and Thursday morning, you can come to this YouTube channel and get the latest information and advice on NFL survivor pools, DraftKings, cash and GPP lineups, and of course, FanDuel, cash and GPP lineups. In addition to that information, we hope that we can entertain you and put a smile on your face. Speaking of putting a smile on your face, how about our week 1 FanDuel lineup? It was a good one. Here's what we're going to do on all our shows. We'll debrief on the previous week, and we'll talk about, hey, who are our studs and who are our duds? On the stud category for week 1 for us, it starts with Devonta Adams, 35 points. Christian McCaffrey, 27 points. Dalvin Cook, 21 points. And DK Metcalf chimed in with 18 points.
Wow! Wow! All I can say is wow!
On the other end of the spectrum, how about our misses? We had Boston Scott, just 6 points. Hayden Hurst, just 5 points. And the Oakland Raiders, they scored as many points as I did. A whopping 0 points.
I am shocked and chagrined, mortified and stupefied.
That is all right, because those 3 guys that, were duds, that were misses, they were all really low-cost guys. And since we didn't invest a lot of money in any of those areas, that freed up money elsewhere, and those other guys did really well in our lineup. So that was a breakdown on week 1. I just want to say, of those 3 misses, Hayden Hurst I thought was the most interesting one, because we got right the fact that we wanted exposure to that Atlanta-Seattle game. We thought it was going to be a shootout. And Hayden and Matt Ryan threw the ball everywhere to everyone. But unfortunately, everywhere and everyone was only to his wide receivers. All 3 of his wide receivers got 12 targets, where Hayden Hurst only got 5. Now, I'm not so surprised that Julio Jones out-targeted him by so much, and Calvin Ridley out-targeted him by so much. But Michael Gage? That's Russell Gage? That's not going to always happen. So take a wait-and-see attitude on Hayden Hurst. I think give him some time because it wasn't like he wasn't playing. He was in on snaps, and not only that, he was running routes. So I think it's just going to take some time, and I think he'll be all right. All right, let's turn our attention to week 2 and our cash game lineup. Okay, as we build our cash game lineup on FanDuel, we'll remember the motto of our show.
This show is all about finding a star, not feeling sorry for people who aren't very good.
Hey, if we're looking for a star at 8,300, let's dial up Derrick Henry. Boy, this guy just ticks off all the boxes that you want for a NFL DFS running back. He's at home this week. He is a huge favorite, 10 points. So game script should be in his favor. The number 1 consideration for a running back is always his touches. And I know it's just 1 week into the season, but he amassed last week 34 touches. That's a lot of touches for a massage therapist. All right. I mean, I don't know what's more impressive for Henry, the 31 carries or the 3 receptions, because always the knock on Derrick Henry was he doesn't get involved with the passing game. And you might go, Eric, it's just been one game. Cool it. Well, last year he averaged 1 catch a game, 1 reception a game, and he got 3 in one game. And you go, hey, Eric, it's just one game. Calm it down. Bring it down a notch. But look who he's playing. He's playing a Jacksonville Jaguar team that absolutely could not stop the Colts dump off screen passes. I mean, how many times did Marlon Mack or Nyheim Hines or even Jonathan Taylor get little screen passes and run 10 yards? This is something that if Jacksonville is going to leave open again, Derrick Henry should get at least a few of those. And you get that guy in the open space, he's just going to bowl over people. The Jacksonville defense is not good. Don't be fooled by the 10 rush rank. That's just the one game against the Colts who lost Marlon Mack. I really think Henry is going to be able to expose this defense. All right, so we've got Marlon Mack. Who do we want to team him with? Listen, I want all of you guys out there to close your eyes. Seriously, close your eyes. Now, I'm going to talk to you about a running back that we want to start. He's at home. He is a favorite, so it should have a good game script where they're ahead. He's the starting running back who gets involved in the passing game, and he's the goal line carrier. His team has an implied total of 25, and he's going against a defense that got absolutely torched in week 1. Sound good? Too good to be true? Who is this guy? Does he cost $8,000? Does he cost $7,000? He doesn't even cost $6,000. Open your eyes. It is Jonathan Taylor of the Indianapolis Colts. If you've been under a rock and missed last week, Marlon Mack, unfortunately, he is out for the rest of the year with a terrible Achilles injury. Jonathan Taylor is the starter. So this is his salary at $5,800 is just ridiculous.
I tell you, I don't get no respect at all.
So he's in our lineup. Wide receiver. At wide receiver, look, the guy that I'm eyeing is Devonta Adams, but I have to make a statement first before I make the full decision of whether we want to put him in the lineup. Last week, I said Devonta Adams is the second best wide receiver in all of football. And a few people in the comment section said to me,
just when I think you've said the stupidest thing ever, you keep talking.
So here I am apologizing. My statement was wrong. Devonta Adams is not the second best wide receiver in football. He's the best wide receiver in football. Did you see what he did last week? Well, at least for one game he is. No wide receiver caught more than 14 receptions. No one got 17 targets. He was on fire. So now, who does Devonta Adams face? Just the Detroit Lions, the same Detroit Lion team that finished dead last year in pass defense. The same Lion team who allowed Mitchell Trubisky to throw 3 TDs. So really excited about Devonta Adams, that we can actually say to him,
I want you to be on my team.
And we're going to just make it work at $8,600. How about the other wide receiver? We're going to go a little bit down, but not much. At $7,000, we're going to pick Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson, clearly the number one guy in Chicago. In addition to that, you know, he faces the New York Giants, the same New York Giants team that he torched last year, 6 receptions for 131 yards. And remember, the number one thing that we want in a wide receiver is targets. Allen Robinson was top 5 in targets. He does have a relationship with Mitchell Trubisky. If Trubisky can just be a little bit more accurate, we would appreciate that. But we're going to put Allen Robinson in our lineup. The last wide receiver, let me give you a hint who he is going to be. At only $6,000, we've got Michael Gallup. So I think people forget last year on a per game basis, because Gallup missed 2 games, he had almost identical stats in targets and receptions as Amari Cooper. But I think Amari Cooper gets all the fanfare because he has these really big blow-up games. Amari Cooper had a big blow-up game in week 1. He was incredible. But there's no reason to expect that Michael Gallup can't bounce back from, quite honestly, a lackluster game. And why not make it be this week when he plays the Atlanta Falcons, who got absolutely torched by Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks with over 400 passing yards against them? This game against Dallas is the highest game total over and under on the main slate. And Dallas, 28 implied total. This is definitely a game we want exposure to. And Michael Gallup at a $6,000 price is a great way to do it. All right, let's move to tight end. And at tight end, I'd like to save some money. And we've got Logan Thomas at only $4,700.
I tell you, I don't get no respect at all.
All right, I guess people have not caught on yet, and especially FanDuel has not caught on Logan Thomas. Let's just remind you, Jordan Reed is gone. Vernon Davis is gone. The tight end on Washington is Logan Thomas. And how many other weapons in the passing game does Washington have? Yes, they have Terry McLaurin, but who else? So last week, let's take a look at what Logan Thomas did. 8 targets. That was second most targets on Washington last week. Caught 4 of them for 37 yards, and he got in the end zone, which is a great bonus. We can't always expect that. But he is someone who gets a lot of red zone looks on this Washington team. And you want just a final cherry on top? Look who he faces. The Arizona Cardinals. They may be a little bit better this year, but last year, absolutely legendary to being the worst defense against tight ends. Even if they've improved some, they haven't improved that much. This is a pick that we want to make, and we will dial up Logan Thomas. All right, if we take a look at where we are salary-wise, we always say quarterback, paying up quarterback, it is a luxury, not a necessity. But I am looking at how much money we have left, and guess what? I am feeling luxurious. Let's go to Lamar Jackson and give him some of the exciting news.
I want you to be on my team.
$9,500. And you know why you want to have this guy on your team. It's the dual threat. It's the fact that he can get a ton of passing yards and TDs, but he also can just absolutely kill it with his legs. And look who he faces this week. He faces the Houston Texans, whose defense is been really lackluster as of late. His implied total is the highest on the slate, 29. The Baltimore Ravens have an implied total of 29. This is something we want to take advantage of. He had a good week. I actually think we're going to see more rushing attempts and rushing yards out of Lamar Jackson this week as compared to last week. And if Houston can just keep this game close, this could be a really big game for Lamar Jackson. All righty. Let's turn our attention to the flex spot. At the flex spot, we've got our eyes on running back at $6,500. Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert is facing the New York Jets. Here are the things that we like about him. We like the fact that he is a 7-point favorite. The lines makers think the San Francisco 49ers, the team that was in the Super Bowl, will bounce back and really handily beat the New York Jets. And if that's the case, if you believe that, Raheem Mostert should have a big game. Game script should go in his favor. We always like touches. And for only $6,500, look, last week he had 19 touches. We'll take that. That's really, really good for this price. All right, the last player on our team is going to be on defense. Last week, we got burned by the Raiders going super cheap. So we're going to spend a little bit of money this week, not a lot, but a little, to make sure we get a decent floor out of our defense. And that'll come in the form of the Arizona Cardinals. Look, love the matchup that the Arizona Cardinals have this week. I don't know about you. I am not sold on the Washington football team. I know they upset the Philadelphia Eagles in week 1, but the Eagles did not have their starting running back, Miles Sanders. The Eagles did not have the starting wide receiver, Alshon Jeffries. And they were missing a bunch of people on the defense. I think the Cardinals, who look really good against those Super Bowl participant San Francisco 49ers last week, I think they're going to dominate this game. And the lines makers agree. The Arizona Cardinals are 6.5-point favorites. And I think we can get a game script, get Haskins from having to come from behind. I know he did it against Philadelphia. I don't think he'll be able to do it against Arizona. I think that's going to create opportunities for sacks and hopefully put pressure on him to force some mistakes, maybe even a few turnovers, and if we're really lucky, a pick six. So that is my cash game lineup. Okay, on the screen is our GPP lineup. That's our guaranteed prize pool. Those are the tournaments where you really have to finish in the top 20 to 25% even to cash. And then to win the big money, you got to do really well. So you got to have big dreams.
If you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything.
All right, so we're going to put our mind to and try to accomplish a high GPP finish with this lineup. What was the thought process? Well, we started with attacking the highest over-under game on the main slate, the Atlanta-Dallas game, with a stack, Matt Ryan to Calvin Ridley, and going back the other way, the number one wide receiver on Dallas, Amari Cooper. Really like Amari Cooper in GPP because the guy has a tremendously high ceiling. There's about 4 to 5 games every year where he really blows up. Joining those two wide receivers in our lineup is Will Fuller. Will Fuller was really impressive in the first week. Obviously, he's on Houston, and DeAndre Hopkins is not. So there was always a question, who is going to take over as the number one wide receiver on Houston? And the early returns is it's going to be Will Fuller. So, and Will Fuller always had that high ceiling because Will Fuller, along with Amari Cooper and along with Calvin Ridley, has high air yards, which means they're going to have a high ceiling. Not going to talk much about the running backs. I like Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor for the same reasons in GPP, as I said in cash. At tight end, we've got T.J. Hawkinson. It is not a trap. We like T.J. Hawkinson with one real big caveat. I am hoping, as I put this lineup in, that Kenny Golladay does not play this week. I think T.J. Hawkinson's ceiling is much higher if Hawkinson is not in the lineup. As you saw in week 1, that Galladay did not play, and Hockenson had a nice game for himself, including finding the end zone. And I already talked about Devonta Adams and the Arizona Cardinals defense. So that's my GPP lineup. Thanks so much for joining us. If you made it this far to the video, smash that like button and hit the red subscriber button followed by the bell icon to be notified of all our content. I am so appreciative of our FFC community, not just because you watch our videos and that we've had a nice spike in subscribers, but how great the comment section has been in our videos. Really like it when everybody keeps it positive. I never have a problem if you give me a contrarian pick to what I suggest. I want to hear it. If you think that one of my picks is not one that you like, tell us why you like another pick, who you like, and why you like that other pick, so we can have a discussion in the comment section. So far this year, the comment section has been so great. I really, really appreciate it. Next week, we are going to go over week 3. We'll debrief how we did in this lineup for week 2, and we'll get you ready for week 3. If you missed it, I'll put it on the screen right now. We did a week 2 NFL Survivor video along with my co-host, Michael Wiley. And I also did a FanDuel week 2 lineup. We'll put that on the screen with my co-host, Michael Kurtzman. Everybody, be safe, take care, and we'll see you next time.